Voices of Resiliency, where the wound becomes wisdom and the story becomes medicine. Voices rise, hearts remember, we are healing together.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Voices of Resiliency. Today, we have a very special guest who needs really no introduction at all. I think he can pretty much take it from here, and we can sit back and all learn something from the amazing Reverend Dominic. I think we're just going to go let you introduce yourself with all your paraphernalia and all your titles and all the things you've accomplished. But first, let me go ahead and introduce my co-host, Michael Pellegrino, here. And he's are you excited about today? I think this is going to be a good one.
I'll tell you what, I've known Dom now for about 7 years, and I've never heard him lost for words. So I'm ready. I'm ready to hear this, and I'll sit back on this one.
So excited.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you guys for having me. Mike, you know my heart, my brother. For us to come here and talk about the things that matter. And I'm just somebody who wants to be involved and wants to help out. And I've kind of had that attitude my entire life, growing up on the east side of Baltimore, a.k.a. the hood, the corner, the wire, the places where drugs flow.
Okay. Good way to start.
You got a much better hood now.
I mean, we're in a better place now, but I think where we began, I think there's a lot to be said about growing up in humble beginnings. And in those humble beginnings, you kind of learn a lot of the values that kind of shape your life moving forward. And, as a person who's been able to serve my country, served 22 years in federal law enforcement in Baltimore, Chicago, Detroit, Miami, New York. I've been able to serve, and it's been a heart desire to be significant, not just successful.
Love it.
I want to be intentional about relationships. In those places, those dark places, we don't see intentionality. We see people just reacting. Things happening, other things happening, people just react to it. I think we should be intentional. My career, we could start at the beginning. I had no plan to go into ministry. It even seems weird. It's been a long time, but it seems weird when I see reverend or minister in front of my name because I was never trying to go in that direction. I was trying to go in the opposite. And if you think about it, a lot of the folks that are really significant in ministry are people who weren't trying to do this stuff in the first place. I wasn't. I received a calling on a flight going to Costa Rica when I was in high school. I learned Spanish, and in my high school we had to learn Latin, and I learned Spanish at the same time. Latin is like the key to the Eurocentric languages, so I was able to learn Spanish in a year, and I was selected to study abroad in Costa Rica. So at 15, I'm flying abroad. And I was not going to build churches or build schools.
What were you doing? That was a lot more
I was
down
going to enjoy the beauty, the culture of Central America.
Sure, absolutely.
And while I was en route, God hit me upside the head. And my first response is, can we have this conversation on my way back out? I love the God stuff and all that, but
finish this trip first.
Let me just go ahead and knock this thing out here, and then we'll, I'm grateful, looking back for having had that conversation with God very early and having that calling very early, because it led me to be more effective in other areas.
Sure.
Mental health has always been a part of my life and my understanding. When I went into federal law enforcement, I went in with a background in psychology because I was fascinated by how the human mind works, how the human mind thinks. And even for the folks that are in forensics and criminality, what causes a person? They say it's only about 3% of the population of, terrorists, rapists, child predators, human traffickers, drug traffickers, only a small group of people creating a whole lot of drama for the rest of us, and I wasn't looking to go into law enforcement. You see some of these props here. I never woke up one day and was like, I want to be a federal agent. I want to be, no. I was not trying to do that. I wasn't necessarily on the straight and narrow, and I was harassed quite a bit by the police in Baltimore. And when I was serving as an executive assistant to a presidential appointee of George W. Bush, and I was approached and pretty much offered a job as a federal agent. And I said, well, what kind of job is this? And we're like, we can't really talk too much about it. But trust me, we're going to send you away to training, and if you survive, you're going to have a great job. And I'm like, what do you mean survive?
Let's back up here a little bit and talk about that word, because survive is a big deal. I think we've got to survive first. So tell me what, so you've lived in ministry, federal service, and in mental health.
Yes.
What connects those three together for you? How does that?
So my graduate degree is in social work.
Right.
And when I graduated, I was management and community organization, but I took the clinical test and became a licensed social worker. That led me into doing psychotherapy and doing pastoral counseling and helping people in environments. I just wanted to help folks. As a policy person, I ranked very high in the policy, and they took me into this program called the Presidential Management. It used to be called an intern program, but one of our interns, her name was Monica. She was hanging out with a guy named Bill, and then intern became a dirty word. So we actually got an executive order to change the intern program to the fellowship. So I was a part of the Presidential Management Fellows program. Okay. Allegedly best and brightest, yada, yada, yada. You got to jump through a bunch of hoops.
Sort of like you had to survive for federal training, et cetera, et cetera.
So right away, they kind of took me out of doing mental health stuff directly and said, we need you at this level, in the federal level. And I was like, absolutely. I want to go to the next level to serve. And I was serving in a policy level when I was approached about being a federal agent. So I just kind of fell into it. I wasn't looking to do that. I was looking to just help folk.
And you do that all the time.
I don't know.
I think we have the same idea of success, which is that the more people you can help in this world before you die, the more successful you'll continue yourself. And that's how I look at it too. It's not about money or titles or anything else.
Yeah.
It's about how many people can I touch, how many people can I help. And
yes.
So once we have that mentality, then I think that makes you automatically resilient. But tell us about your resiliency. What does that word mean to you, and what are you, obviously you're very resilient. You seem to bounce back from everything, coming from where you came from to.
Growing up, one of the things, I was walking the dog with my daughter recently, and I said, do you like your neighborhood? And she said, yes. And I said, what do you like about it? She said, it's safe. And I was like, whoa, that's something I never had. I wasn't safe in the house.
Baltimore is not safe on anything.
I wasn't safe in a lot of places. I mean, getting to and from school every day, that was an accomplishment. I saw things happen to people for no apparent reason. I saw things happen to people. I saw people hurt. We had a lot of people pass away from a very young age. I saw violence. I can remember walking over large puddles of blood, and I'm going into a history class, and I'm trying not to get blood on my shoes. These are things that a person at that age shouldn't be thinking.
No, definitely not.
Resiliency is, being able to recover and not internalize abuses that occur in life. So for me, physical abuse, sexual abuse, neglect, poverty, these things, when they happen to me, I felt like, this isn't right. This doesn't fit me. I understand that we live in a dark, fallen world, and I'm not going to be a victim of these situations. I'm going to overcome, and I made it my point to help others. I made it my point to prevent abuses, poverty.
I think that's something that I talk about to all my people too, is that I think you have two choices in life. You can either be a victim or a champion.
Yeah.
But people who become champions are the ones that let everything that happens to them be a stepping stone to create the life they want. But the victims let everything that happens to them stop them from getting to where they want. So it's kind of you've got to make that decision 1,000 times a day, because everything's going to happen to you over and over, and you just got to keep choosing. Yeah. All right, am I going to stop or am I going to go?
Victim versus victor.
Yeah, and a lot of times there's locus of control. In psychology, we have this phenomenon, locus of control. What happens to me? Is it good luck? Is it goodwill? Is it the devil made me do it? you take personal responsibility over your life. You can't control the stuff that happens outside of your realm of control. You know, the serenity prayer. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I guess the question is, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to handle this? This horrible thing just happened to me. What are you going to do? How do you handle abuse, breakups, financial problems, work stress, global pandemics, wars, the price of gas? You can sit around and complain about it, or you can figure out a way forward. And that's what we do in resiliency is we help people, we supply them with tools to handle any situation. We talked before about, you know, Batman having a belt, a utility belt. And it's almost like he knew certain situations were going to come up, so he just happened to have a grappling hook. He knew that enemies were going to close in. He pulled that from his belt, and I was like, how did he know he was going to be in a situation where he could just shoot this thing up and pull him up?
That's right. Well, they have a 5P thing, right? Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Is that what it is?
Absolutely.
So
you know that crap is going to happen. Prepare yourself. Get yourself ready. And in resiliency, we try to prepare the mind. We try to help people prepare themselves because sooner or later, life is going to come to a theater near you.
If it's not at your doorstep already.
That's right.
The good news, too, is there's never been a superhero story that started out with this one time, this happy family that grew up in suburbia. So, like, if you come from a hard life, it's because you are being brought into the opportunity to become resilient and become something special and be more because you were given those choices. You were given those chances to go through those struggles. And, you know, every story is Batman's parents got killed, Superman. I mean, you go through any superhero story that's out there, and it all starts with tragedy. And that's really what sparks the whole thing. So it's like those that get up and keep going are the ones that get to do the things. And then those that don't, well, I guess they're still where they stopped.
And victims always say, you know, why is this happening to me? Why is it happening to me? But a victor will say, what am I supposed to learn from this? How am I supposed to learn from this? And that's where crisis becomes the opportunity.
You know, not too far from here is we have our 4 Kids of South Florida headquarters, and we have group homes, and we have homes for unwed mothers. And these are kids that have been through the worst, kids that never got adopted, kids that aged out of foster care. And you know, they say, Dom, how many hours did you do this year? And I'm like, I talk to my kids every day. I talk to my kids every day, at night, in the morning. We're constantly in contact because if you're a parent, if you are a person who cares, you're not just only available on Tuesday. You're not available 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. It's 24/7.
No doubt.
And I've had kids say, Mr. Dom, does the Bible, is there anything in the Bible that says I can't sell pictures of my feet on the internet? True story. True story.
I believe that.
I mean, you know, technically no.
They're using a play on words there.
Slippery slope.
But you know what? The fact that I'm able to be significant in their lives, you know, this is important because these folks have no one to turn to. You know, we learn so much from parents and primary caregivers. Imagine if you took those parents and primary caregivers, took them off the table. Either they were in jail or they were strung out on drugs or that they just didn't care or they were abusive to them, so the kids had to run away. So whether it's the kids that come out of human trafficking or the kids that come out of the foster care system, the key is to try to provide that stability. Try to be that one person that doesn't walk out on them.
That's right.
That one person that they can rely on. And when those young girls ask me to walk them down the aisle, it is the greatest honor because it says I was able to be used as a person that could be a stable rock, somebody in their life to help them. And I mean, I did a lot of work for my country, but at the end of the day, it's about that one-on-one interaction, that one person that you can help. You know, they used to say this back in the day, think globally, act locally. I can't fix the Strait of Hormuz. No. I can barely pronounce it.
I know, right? That was pretty good.
You know what I mean? Good job, though.
That was actually really good. I don't think I'd have gotten that close. Is that how it's said?
I can't fix that problem, but I can try my best to work with somebody.
So you were telling us the story about your trip down to Costa Rica, which started off your entire ministry / federal agent / I guess everything you become. Tell us about a situation with that caused you to be resilient. That was like a personal resiliency story. Because I know that's where everything begins, right? Is that moment where you have the choice to decide to keep going or to give up and make excuses.
You know, and this is going to be a very controversial subject, and the subject is forgiveness. You know, when you come to God and come to serve the Lord, one of the things that He's going to ask you to do is to forgive people. And
70 times 7?
I mean, it's basically unlimited.
Yes.
Back when cell phones first came out, we only used them on nights and weekends.
Yeah,
Y'all remember that? When we transitioned from
free weekends, and people were like, "Whoa!"
And it's like and then we have unlimited plans now, where they don't keep track of it.
No, nothing.
It's important because I came to the Lord. I had access to ground. I had people that had hurt me, and I had enemies, and I had people that. Yeah, I didn't like these people, and my heart had to change, you know, because when He says love your enemies, He's preparing you for marriage, He's preparing you for friendship. I had to overcome a lot of my personal vendettas and hatreds and prejudices because growing up in those neighborhoods, people treat you a certain kind of way, and you learn that if I ever get on top, I'm going to handle those situations. And when I came to the Lord, He had to deal with me about that. I had to open up my heart and to forgive people that had hurt me, because it's hard to hate somebody when you're praying for them.
Yeah. Yes.
And in life, we have to resist being tribal and consider you could be wrong about something, and consider the fact that, you know what? We're called to love people that don't look like us, vote like us, smell like us. People that are different, people that are the other, you know, and even in the Old Testament, there's so many things that there are laws where the provision is for the immigrant, for the homeless, for the fatherless, for the widow and the orphan, people that have no other way to go. You know, if you had a field and your job was to collect the corn, if you dropped the corn, you couldn't pick it up. You had to leave it. So some corn would be left for the widow, for the orphan, for the stranger, for the immigrant. So I guess for me, I had to deal with my heart. I had to give up some of those grudges and those prejudices and those, you know, folks, you know, if I ever get on top, I'm going to get these people, you know, but, and I was,
just give me a chance. I got this.
I was asked to speak recently at a church in Coconut Creek, and I got the message, we're going to talk about Jonah, because Jonah is the first prophet that, you know, God called the Israelite to go to a Gentile nation, and Jonah hated those people. Yeah. That's why he went. He wasn't afraid.
Put that in perspective today. What would that be like?
To go to some folks that are different and try to help them, because that's what he did. Because, you know,
moving to an all-Muslim country from America.
Hey, these people that hate you, go over there and help their infrastructure. These people that want to destroy you, go figure out a way so that they have clean drinking water and health care. Do what you can to try to support these people that have vowed to destroy you. They've labeled you an infidel. That's what the message of Jonah is all about. God wanted to help these people. They were not Israelites. They were not Jews. They were Gentiles. He's the only prophet in the Old Testament that was sent to a Gentile nation.
Well, you know, God uses the willing, but in this situation, He used the unwilling.
You know,
he didn't have a choice in that one.
He needed to have heart surgery.
That's right, exactly.
And in the belly of a whale, God dealt with his heart.
Yep.
And a lot of it is about trying to have the mind and the heart of God. You know, God is trying to reach out to people, and we're trying to cut them off. You know, and I mean, that's been the story of my life, is just trying to reach out to folks.
That's a truth statement to you. I think there's something, I recently said surrendering is a different story than submitting, and I wrote a song about it actually that I love it because of that whole purpose of what you're just saying. And so tell me a little bit about like what police officers, law enforcement, people that the public doesn't see, what do they deal with behind closed doors and what because I know there's a lot more to it than what.
You hear a lot about bad apples. But most of these people are just amazing warriors. These are servants. These are people who have put their life on the line to protect the innocent, protect people. You know, I was watching a movie recently and I saw injustice happening and I got so angry because injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Being in law enforcement is about trying to protect somebody that can't protect themselves, trying to stand in the gap for somebody, trying to help somebody. It's like being a fireman. When a fireman comes to a house, he doesn't look at the people and try to figure out what their likes are before he saves them from a fire.
Right.
He's saving them first.
Right.
Because it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Because it could be anybody. Same thing in law enforcement. When we are trying to protect the financial infrastructure of the United States from threats, internal and external, it doesn't matter who the threats hurt. If it's anybody in the United States, it's us.
Citizen's a citizen, right? So you've got to protect people.
We protect that which matters most. We protect the ability to live and to have peace and to go to work every day and to have your family and your vehicles and your employment and your education. We protect the right to do that. There are some folks that trample on those rights. We're here to stop that.
I think, too, you guys have such a... we had Raul on a talk we were doing, and he was the Pulse nightclub shooter team leader, I think, for the...
Yes.
And when you ask him about it, he said, man, I just had a great team. But as somebody, a veteran who's served overseas, never really thought about what it's like to have to serve here, have something like that happen where to some people you're a hero, but there's always going to be the other people who... not so much, and he has to live in that same community.
Yeah.
And so it must be a really challenging thing to be in law enforcement and then retire and try and find a life there in that same area where you grow up or where you worked.
Here's the thing about being a warrior, and for those of us in law enforcement, it's very easy to allow that job to be your identity.
Oh, big time.
Because when you do a job, even if you're a professional athlete, suppose that's your identity. All you know is basketball. All you know is football. What happens when that contract ends? What happens when that injury, that rotator cuff, that ACL, that Achilles, what happens when that's over?
Right.
Life moves on. We have a greater purpose than what any title or label or work responsibility could be. Our purpose is bigger. It's broader. You know, it's like my pastor said, you're not retired, you're reassigned.
That's right.
That's a great word.
Pastor Doug in Calvary Chapel right across the street over here. Pastor Doug,
amazing.
He's a great guy. You know, I recently asked him, I said, Pastor Doug, what if I'm walking with Jesus and I fall off the earth because the earth is flat? What do I do then?
Hold on, don't worry. There's military there to stop you, apparently.
Right.
You ain't going to walk off the edge.
Yeah, but, you know, it's important to not take yourself so seriously, but you have to evolve. You know, I get so much fulfillment from being able to be instrumental in bigger ideas than my own. You know, we go to D.C. next week. We have meetings at the White House. We have meetings at the Department of Justice. These meetings are not just photo ops saying, oh, our politicians believe in law enforcement. These are very important meetings where we're discussing policy. We're discussing tactics on how to make the country more efficient, how to police better, how to honor those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. The meetings are significant because we're trying to shape legislation. You know, there are laws, there are bills. You know, criminal activity is way faster than legislation.
Yes.
So we're trying to catch up. You know, people are doing things that are technically not illegal.
Yeah.
I mean, we think about things that happened in the financial system. There were no laws on the books to prosecute somebody. I mean, you think about Al Capone. We had to get him on tax fraud.
Right. Couldn't find him.
The laws didn't exist because technically what they did was immoral.
Right.
But there were no laws. So we're working with lawmakers so that, you know, certain things that should be illegal are illegal. You know, we have been telling Congress and the White House about fentanyl for about 15 years.
Really?
When the body count gets high enough, then the laws start rolling out. But there were synthetic opioids in the United States from various parts of the world that we had been fighting against. But we found somebody with a bunch of fentanyl. We couldn't do anything because it wasn't on the controlled substance bill. It wasn't it wasn't a part of the law.
Well, and adversely speaking, now with the executive order for psychedelics being moved from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3,
yes,
there's going to be more. I imagine that's going to be a complicated roll out for you guys as well, trying to...
The laws should evolve with the people of the time. We know that, for cannabis uses, we know that eventually we're going to see much more legality for the use of cannabis. But we're not worried about cannabis as much as we're worried about synthetic opioids and fentanyl.
Exactly. That's the other side of things.
You think about it, cannabis has medicinal purposes.
Absolutely.
And within the proper responsibility, recreational purposes. But what purpose does an elephant tranquilizer have in a human being?
I don't see any elephants rolling around out here.
So the thing about fentanyl is that it looks like salt or sugar. 3 grains is enough to kill a human adult male.
Wow.
You couldn't tell it from sugar, but 3 grains of it could kill you. That's how serious, that's how powerful, that's how potent it is.
And this has been going on for, you said, for 15-something years you've been
beyond that, because it predates my work in federal law enforcement. I was in federal law enforcement since 2003.
Really?
It existed. And what drug dealers were using is they would lace their heroin with it because it would be more powerful, more potent.
Oh,
it would
is that
be stronger.
why? I always wondered why you'd want to kill your clients.
Well,
you're not a pharmacist on the street.
I don't understand.
Though.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I don't know.
You're not a professional.
And these drugs are not FDA approved.
No, there's never been any background.
The fentanyl is, it's 50 times more potent than heroin, 100 times more potent than morphine.
Does it serve an actual purpose?
There are purposes. Again, if you need to do surgery on an elephant, where's your fentanyl? We need this elephant. We need a 3-ton animal to stay asleep while we cut him open.
Because I'm like, what is the purpose of this?
There is a purpose. It's not for human consumption.
Okay, gotcha. That doesn't sound like something we should be consuming at all. But wow, what a crazy! I didn't have any idea that there was that much. I mean, I can totally understand chasing the proverbial carrot, if you will, when it comes to law enforcement, because you're always going, like you said, Al Capone, he was innocent. He didn't do anything wrong as far as the legal system was concerned until they got him on, we'll call it a technicality, I guess. As a, come on, that's amazing. So, but we learn as we go, right? And we have to adjust, and society's always changing. So, it's thank goodness for you guys. Now, tell me what the difference is for federal law enforcement, federal agent versus Federal Bureau of Investigation. Because as somebody who's completely ignorant to the entire, I know that everybody who has a badge is somebody you should respect, but I don't know the difference of the in there.
So the FBI is a bureau of law enforcement. You could be a federal agent from one of 70 federal agencies.
70?
70.
70.
There are more federal agencies, but to be an agent, to be a special agent or a federal agent, that means that you have specific authority to act on behalf of the United States. It's technically power of attorney to act on behalf of the United States.
Okay.
So if someone attacks me, they're not attacking me, they're attacking the United States.
Okay.
I act on behalf of the United States. We have different agencies that have agents. The FBI is one of them.
Okay.
The CIA is another one.
Okay.
The DEA is another one.
Okay.
The OIG is another one.
Okay.
The ATF.
Okay.
The Homeland Security. I could go on and on and on with
70 actually.
70
right?
federal agents. The Federal Reserve Bank
is considered an agent.
We have agents at the FDIC. We have agents at the IRS. We have agents at Postal.
All part of the
part of federal law enforcement.
Okay.
So Congress created different federal agencies to police and to look at certain things in the United States. And we have specialization. I specialize in financial crimes. I still did drugs, guns, and gangs because bad guys don't discriminate when they commit a crime.
I imagine they cross over occasionally. You don't get a law-abiding taxpayer.
I'll give you an example. I was working with the State Department on a passport fraud case. And the case evolved into human trafficking and child pornography. We didn't know that until we got into the house.
Wow.
We had a bunch of people creating phony passports. So it was a passport fraud case. We get into the house, and not only do they have kids in the house, they have videos and pictures of these kids without their clothes on involved in sexual acts. So then the case is now a child porn and human trafficking case because they're moving these kids from Mexico, giving them fake passports, getting them involved in all types of nefarious activity. And see, that's how you need special agents from different agencies, because a person at Homeland Security or a person that works sex crimes or a person that does financial crimes, we're specialists. We get together on a task force and bring these people to justice.
And so each one of the individual departments would take a role. And
Correct.
And that's what.
Yeah.
It,
And now, Dom, just so everybody understands, you're the executive vice president of all them.
Yes, so FLEOA, you see this here, it stands for the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association. We are the largest non-political, nonpartisan professional association representing all these agencies. So all these groups that I talked about, when we meet at the White House, we're the voice of these organizations.
Okay.
The FBI is the largest. Our largest membership comes from the FBI. It's the FBI and Homeland Security. They are the largest federal agencies that have agents. United States Secret Service has come into the Department of Homeland Security when George W. created the Department of Homeland Security. They included Treasury Department and the Secret Service into Homeland Security. So we represent the agents. We speak on behalf of the agents. We try to make sure that their pay and benefits stay intact. We tried to advise the White House and Congress about some of the trends in crimes against the United States. So we have specialists at immigration. We have specialists in the DEA with drugs. We have specialists all around
all
the
70
country.
agencies we just talked about.
Yes,
you're the in charge of all of those people, protect or being the voice for those people.
Yes. So we communicate to the United States. We communicate to Congress and the White House about concerns that we see, laws that we see, bills that are in the works. Some of them we viciously oppose. Some of them we advocate for.
Right.
So, yeah.
Wow. I had no idea that there was an organization that.
Yeah.
I didn't know there were 70 different agents. Styles,
There are a lot.
And that does make sense too, that you would want to have some organization to be a voice for them and
Yes.
collectively, bring them together.
Absolutely.
And then it makes
Absolutely,
even more sense that you'd be the executive director of said.
Well, we have a president, Matt Silverman, a great friend of mine. Matt came to me and said, "Dom, do you want to be president?" They asked me to be president. I was like, "No, that's you, bro.
Yeah,
you the
no,
man.
I'm good back here. I
You're
got
in
this.
DC. You're a young single guy. You got all the time. I got dance recitals and soccer games. I
got my
can't
Reverend
miss it.
thing I gotta do, too,
Listen, I
so.
live in Florida. You live in DC. That's you, bro. I'll support you. You're the man." And Matt Silverman, my president, and myself, we have an executive director, we have legislative coordinators and consultants, and we have different folks on our board that specialize in different areas.
Now, is it a 501c3 or is it a...
Yes, it's
it is
501c3 nonprofit organization.
And Dom's a part of a lot of organizations, including ours, Resilient Minds on the Front
Resilient
Lines.
Minds, yes.
And not only is Dom a facilitator, but I'm going to take you on a little journey with Dom. Dom and I met back in 2019 at a conference and immediately hit it off. And I just knew that there was something special, Dom. And I can't thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that you have done for Resilient Minds on the Front Lines, facilitate and just giving your heart and soul to all your organizations, because you're just an amazing man.
Thank you, brother.
An amazing man.
I think you're an amazing man. I think you're amazing. You know, this guy pulled a lady out of a burning car?
What?
As a police officer.
way.
This guy's a hero.
He doesn't tell any
He's
stories
an
about
Avenger.
himself. He doesn't give us any
He's
of
a
his
part of the
heroic
Justice
stories.
League, the real Justice League.
I believe it, but I mean, he doesn't tell us any of these good stories.
Well,
so.
he's a good man.
Absolutely.
And he's had his own personal struggles and he's overcome them. And what he's about saving people's lives. And we save people's lives when we were working as a police officer, as a federal agent. We're doing it again with resiliency and trying to save people's mental health.
That's the whole goal of what we're doing right now, is to make sure that nobody suffers in silence.
That's right.
I see every day this happen, and the conversations and how we just look at people and we ask that question, "How are you doing?" And it's hollow in that question,
Right.
because I'm fine, I'm good. I had to ask somebody technically 3 times yesterday, 4 times before I could get that answer. But again, it's being able to connect with people. And I think that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to connect with people,
Right.
to make sure that they have the proper tools pre-event, so that when they go through the event, they can come out on the growth side.
Because those events are coming.
Yes, yeah.
Like you said earlier, buddy.
That's actually
LIFE.
great. Let's, Dom, for the one last question, for someone out there that may be losing themselves right now or having a struggle, what would you give them advice-wise? Can you talk to the camera and give them
Hold on. If you're struggling, hold on. Get some help. There are resources available. We live in an information age. Get on the internet and Google it. Get some help. Get the mental help you need. Ask the AI. The AI can point you to the folks that can get you the services that you need. There's no reason for you to suffer. You can learn anything. You can get connected to anyone. Help is just a phone call, a click away.
You can go right to our website. We have resources that can get get anybody the help that they need immediately. And that's the one thing that we're really focused on, especially in Resilient Minds, is to make sure that nobody suffers in silence and has all the resources readily available for them.
And we got 70 organizations out to protect us now, so I know that, and I feel a little more, that's a big education for me. I certainly didn't realize there were that many people out there, nor did I realize how much integration it has to do with everything about our society. And you think about the law enforcement as enforcing the law, but not about the lawmaking and about how that whole process works and how much. And with the age of AI and the entanglement of the web, I certainly think that the job is probably going to get more difficult as time goes by. And so
there are challenges.
Seemingly impossible to keep up with, right? You're always going to be chasing your tail on some level, but it sounds like you got the right person in the right position.
And I have to give Dom a plug here because Dom is an author, and he has written a book. And Dom, if you could just give us a quick synopsis of that book and where we can get it at.
So it's on Amazon. Okay. You can just put my name, Dominick Stokes, in the Amazon, and the book will come up. The name of the book is Chosen. Kingdom Men Rising, and it's about becoming the best version of yourself.
I love it.
It's really about becoming the best version of yourself. And, the things that we talked about here, a lot of those things I mentioned in the book, and, reach out, get a hold of it, we're here to support.
That's it. That's it.
It is an international bestseller. So I guess that would make me an international bestseller.
We're sitting next to somebody.
We'll put a little asterisk on the bottom of the...
I had a boss tell me, yeah, Dom, you're writing. It's really not what we would like. I was like, that's interesting because I'm an international best-selling author. Maybe I'm not doing something right here. But
maybe my work is just too good for this position.
I don't know.
And Dom, I want to just take you back to, you said the word success. We all strive for success.
Yeah.
I know for me personally, it's all about significance.
Yes.
And you use that word, and I love that word significance because it's not about it's not about me. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's about we.
Yeah.
And how we can be the best version, how we can get the message out, how we can give people those skills and tools to be able to change those lives. And that's important. And I thank you for everything that you do.
Absolutely, bro. It's not just about winning the race. It's about finishing and making sure that nobody gets left behind.
Love it.
If somebody falls, pick them up.
That's it.
You might not be able to cross the line the first, but you'll cross the best.
That's it.
Helping someone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend.
It's a pleasure,
man. Appreciate you very much. Yeah, definitely. Amazing conversation.
Remember, life gives you the moment, but your response writes the story. Catch it. Pause. Reframe. This is Voices of Resiliency.